6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, two fans. What a result yesterday in the end. Very stressful, but we got there. That's all that matters. We've got Fan Dan to talk through the game with, but we've also got the voice of Ian, John, and Henry Winter just to give their little overview of the game. And of course, we've got the chat, which is always on fire. So Leslie says, "Evening all, welcome to the review of Newcastle battling a performance against Birmingham. Please like and share and subscribe. It's all free. Please adhere to community guidelines. Keep comments respectful. All the above. Please enjoy the show." And the final one is you can join from 99p and be entered into a regular members prize draw or donate using the super chat in the bottom right hand corner. And obviously all pays to go towards the channel, and then anything extra gets donated to charity. Dan says, "Yeah, yo. Hey, Jules is in the house. How was your head after last night?" That would be interesting. Jules, Daniel's in the house as well, even Daniel. And yeah, let's get cracking. Looks like I think Gary's joined us as well. Yes, he has. There he is, peered in the bottom. Let's bring in Dan in first. Evening, Dan.
Good evening, Baz.
Dan.
Good evening, all.
Yes. And we've got Gary as well, who's just managed to scrape on. And he's got his Hugh Hefner gown on.
I don't give a shit. I might look like an absolute dickhead and I don't care.
Nope.
Couldn't care one bit.
He just eats the cigar now, and then his missus to walk along the screen every now and again.
I know, exactly. I'm at a funny angle today as well because just Ben's been playing on the VR and stuff, so I'm just there.
Jesus Christ. Kids these days.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's running around the living room, you know what it is. He's hit me a few times, but you know, it is what it is, isn't it?
That's brilliant. I love it. Right. We're obviously here to discuss this amazing result. The reason why I say it was an amazing result is because of all the changes we made. So here are the lineups. Obviously, don't know much about Birmingham. Obviously, Stansfield was their major player who was bought for 15 or 20 million or something like that. Don't really know anybody else, to be fair, but my God, it was a tough one. Between me and Ian, we got our lineup absolutely spot on.
Yep.
The only thing, I said Murphy would play and Wilson wouldn't start. He said Wilson would start and Asulo would go out on the right wing, but he didn't have the same. He nearly had the same team as me. He had Bruno out, I think, and I had Bruno in saying he'll play 45, and then Tonali will come on for the second half for the next 45.
You were spot on.
Sometimes I know what I'm talking about, lads. Do you know? I know it's not very often, but I was absolutely bang on with that. If we didn't know we were going to be in a game, fucking hell, we knew after 34 seconds, didn't we?
Let's just say it was a proper cup tie, and nobody expected them to have the start that they had. And I remember I was down in the living room with Mrs. and that goal went in, and I immediately I gave her the remote, and I went up to our room because I was just like, I'm gonna watch TV in the other room because I don't think anybody wants to be around me right now. And thankfully, it didn't take very long, but yeah, it was a shocker to start. But just the noise in the stadium was fantastic to hear on television.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the fireworks, it was all very American, wasn't it? No offense.
Yes, very much. No, it had that feel. I mean, the entry with all the pyro cannons and all that kind of stuff. Well, we could also hear them playing Guns N' Roses' "Welcome to the Jungle" in the dark, with their preview video on the jumbo screen, and yeah, it was. But I mean, I don't think any of us were prepared for 34 seconds in. That was just a. But as soon as that corner was earned, I said, "Oh shit, here's a chance." And so, yeah, it was something else though.
Look, I didn't say I wasn't bothered about the FA Cup. I just said because we're in the final of the Carabao Cup and we're chasing top 5, it wouldn't fuss me too much if we got knocked out. Obviously, I wanted us to win. Of course I do. I always do. But, but after 30, 34, 36 seconds, whatever it was, I basically said in the live stream, I said, there's no need to panic. We've got plenty of time to get back into this game. But talking about their goal, Gary, I mean, it was a well-worked, I think it ended up being a free kick, didn't it? They got the corner, then they won a free kick from it, didn't they? And then it got flung into the back post. The guy heads it back into a great area. Nobody's marking Leod, who scored. Great left foot shot, took a deflection and flew in. And I was just like, oh, my God.
Terrible defender.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely shocking. Bruno and Longstaff were ball watching. The centre-backs were nowhere to be seen. Pope was flat-footed. It was just awful. It was an awful goal to concede. But I was with you. I thought, right, let's see how good the second string are now. And there's still 90-odd minutes to go in the game. And I thought, it's definitely not over. It's just a terrible start. And look, it's how you recover from that. And obviously we did, but it was terrible. I thought it was an awful goal to concede. Really poor. The last thing you want to do when you go away in a cup tie is let a bloody goal in a bit of a intimidating atmosphere after 40 seconds. It's the worst thing you can do. And they went and did it. Yeah. And it was just shit defending, blatant. But
it's terrible defending at the back post, like Dan's just said. The chat target was meant to be marking the guy at the back post, and he was completely free. I mean, you don't give a man a free header there, and then but he did really well to pick out his man in the middle, though. To be fair to him, I don't think Pope can be blamed about being flat-footed. I think he didn't stand a chance. I mean, we're talking 6 yards out almost to 10 yards out, and he's thumped it and it's took a deflection. There's not a lot you could have done about it, to be fair. But the worst thing about it is that they did the same thing again.
Yep.
Same move, right to the back post. The guy was completely free. They headed it back across, and it took a great save from Pope to keep it just at 1-0. And I thought, Jesus Christ, these guys are going to have to wake up soon because these are on it. And I was getting very worried, Dan.
Well, first thing that pissed me off, of course, was my match prediction went out the window after 40 seconds because I said it was going to be 2-0, and there we were.
You've been on fire as well, haven't you?
Yep. So I was, yeah. But we looked those first 5-10 minutes. We looked. I don't want to say we looked tired. It was obvious that the second string was on the pitch. It was obvious that these guys have not played. They haven't played together with any real minutes to where they could string together any kind of consistency, is what it looked like. So, I mean, it was great to see Emil Kraft back in the starting 11. And he's, to be fair, he hasn't let us down when he's come on. It was good that Matty Targett was getting minutes in his legs. I was surprised to see Tino start. I figured after Wednesday night, Trips would at least get 45 minutes. But we got him in there. It was just to give up a goal that soon in an intimidating atmosphere, as Kaz said. It was difficult to get started, and I was quite critical of Callum Wilson in our WhatsApp group. Anyway, it put us in a hole that we had to dig ourselves out of right quick, and we got back in it very quickly.
We did quick enough. 21 minutes we scored. Joe Willock. Now, there's a lot of controversy around this goal. Personally, I think it was over the line. And I know it's not the best angle, but if you look how far back the keeper is behind the line and where his hand is, and forget about there's a bit of a blur on the ball, but if you look at the ball, you can see half of the side of the net from that angle as it is.
Agreed.
So to me, the ball is over the line. I mean, when it rebounded back to him, he should have made sure, because instead of blaring it over the crossbar.
Right.
But I mean, the linesman didn't have the best view of it either, because it looked like the player might have been in his way, but he flagged straight away to say it was over. Reminded me, you remember Gavin Peacock's goal against Man United in the 5-0?
Yes.
Dennis Irwin.
Yeah, that wasn't over the line.
Yeah, but it was over the line. The ones at Sky Sports kept on saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's given that decision." And when they magnified on it, it was like, "Oh, it's actually in." I remember that one quite well.
Well, the linesman put his flag up straight away. There was no hesitation from him whatsoever.
And if you look at the Birmingham fans as well in that corner, they never complained. They never said that's not over the line, because I mean, they never give the linesman any crap at all. So their reaction says a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, unless the goalkeeper's got massively long arms, he's halfway in his net anyway. Exactly. So, look, I mean, this issue would have been all resolved if for some reason VAR comes in round 5. I don't know why it's not in round 3, but it's one of those.
You don't need VAR. You need goal line technology, which is completely separate to VAR. Now, why they didn't have goal line technology is beyond me, because it's literally it's a 100% decision. He looks at his watch. You either play on or he gives a goal. So I don't understand why they're not using it. I know there are clubs in the lower league who don't have it, but if you've got it, just let them turn it on. It's ridiculous.
Do you know what it is? It's just more nonsense with them scrapping replays and stuff like that. It's just why stuff's got to come in the later round. I mean, apparently it all comes in the 5th round. Is that because the big clubs are in the 5th round? Is it? Yeah, it's protecting them, is it?
They literally don't protect them. It's just they don't expect the clubs in the lower league to still be in the round by the 5th round. So, for example, Birmingham couldn't use VAR because they don't have it. They can't afford it. So VAR wouldn't be in operation if Birmingham get to the 5th round.
It's all about money in it.
Well, of course it is. I mean, how many teams in the Championship have VAR? Probably none, because they don't use it, and it costs quite a lot of money to have it installed in your ground, and then you've got to have all the officials available at Stockley Park to watch the incidents, and you're talking like a lot of wages, a lot of money on top. So that's why they bring it in later on the rounds, because there's less games to manage, and there's teams they expect to be in it are the top tier teams, so everyone's kind of got it. That's the reason why. But as far as I'm aware, Birmingham have got goal line technology. Most of the Championship have got goal line technology, haven't they? And they were only a Championship 2 years ago.
I mean, on the goal, I think you saw the best and the worst of Joe Willock. I think his movement and his first shot was incredible. I think it was brilliant. And his second rebound, where he belted out with the bar, was horrendous. And it was... But it was, look, it's one of those. The referee can't make that decision. It's the linesman. He put his flag up straight away. And, I mean, fair dues to him, because I bet you it wasn't an easy corner to say it was a goal. Right. He would have had some people shouting at him and behind him. So, but it looked over the line to me. But
if you saw the whole of the ball for the linesman, if he could see the whole of the ball on the right side of the post, it's in.
Yeah,
I can't understand why we've got that camera. Why they just can't move the camera there a bit so we can see. They just move it. It's very...
Because that camera is more for the game than it is for making decisions, you see.
Right.
Cameras for goal line technology. So it's
how hard would it be to mount a GoPro?
Yeah. Well, this is it. That's what goal technology is probably used. They have them all dotted around the stadium to be able to know exactly what's going on. But the big telling fact for me is the Birmingham fans did not go in on one. And if they had, then I would have been like, "Ooh, that's a bit suspect." But because they were so quiet and they accepted the decision, that says to me they saw the whole ball over the line and thought, yeah, not really much we can complain about in that one. But I'll tell you what else, though. Asula was absolutely brilliant for that goal. And if it wasn't for him down that right-hand side, great pass from, I believe it was Sean Longstaff to get him in as well. For the cutback, which was fantastic. Again, loads of people will come to it later on about Sean Longstaff getting stick, but I thought he did all right in bits of the game, and that was one of the very shining points of his game. That pass that split the defence. Asula got in, he pulls it back, and like you say, Willock did the rest, and should have made sure it went in. And then we've got the most bizarre goal you'll probably ever see. And again, it's great work down the right-hand side. The ball's pulled back right across the 6-yard box. Willock's got a simple tap in. He hits it. It then comes to Asula, who's 2 yards out, and somehow he manages to kick the ball off his wrong foot, and then it loops up in the air. And Callum Wilson somehow doesn't pull his hamstring by getting his foot about 6 foot in the air, and he prods it in from 4 yards. It's probably the best and worst you can see in a cup game, wasn't it? That it was a proper cup tie at that moment, wasn't it?
Well, no, and exactly one we're ahead. But yeah, I was laughing my bits off because I was trying to figure out how, if Callum Wilson pulls his hamstring going to the toilet, how did he not injure himself getting the ball in the net? But it doesn't matter. The ball was in the net. That's all we cared about. No, it was comedic the way that it all popped up like that. I mean, it was a great pass in. It was the scuff with his wrong foot for Asula. And I will also admit the commentator on television was driving me absolutely mad because he kept calling him Osulu. He kept calling him Asulu, and it was but it was just the angle of the camera watching Callum Wilson's right foot get up that high in order to. I was surprised he didn't come down re-injured. I was convinced, even after scoring, he was going to be laying in the 6-yard box, and we were going to watch him be carried off. But thankfully, that's not what happened, and all of a sudden we were a goal up. So good on the tune.
And the funny thing about it, Gary, is that Asula gets the assist for that.
Do you know what it is? But before I forget this, I talk about the goal. If that Asula thing drove you nuts, on Northeast tonight, Joe Wilcox scored the goal for him.
Oh, Wilcox! Good.
Wilcox scored the goals by the woman on Northeast tonight.
Oh,
which woman was it? Is it Imelda May or?
I never watched the news, mate, and it was up on the screen. She said Joe Wilcox, and I went, "Yep, that's him." Anyway, do you know what it is? Asula. I mean, obviously, I assume we're talking about individual performances in a bit, but Asula's chaos, and he's.
I said it, even though in the first. Let's just talk about the first 25 minutes. Basically, we had a spell after 10 minutes all the way up until the 40th minute where we were causing them a lot of trouble, weren't we? And Asula was a massive part of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How much does he remind you of like a Kitspire or someone like that at the moment? He seems to be a panicky player on the ball. Like everything has to be 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? When he's turning back and he just doesn't have that composure yet. He might get it. I hope he does. But at the moment, he looks very rushed and he panics a bit too much for me at the moment.
Yeah. I think he, I mean, obviously, he's hit his own foot on the line. I mean, I don't know how he's managed to do that. That's a Riviere moment, that.
It's a brilliant.
Up to that point, he was really, really good. He was causing them problems time and time again. I said, I mean, we saw his goal a couple of weeks ago, and it was a hell of a finish. Now, but he rushes his shots. He panics a bit, and I agree with you. I think he reminds me of Obafemi Martins.
Yep.
And I think he's got the power. He's got the pace of Martins. Martins could hit shots from 30 yards, but he could also snatch at easy chances. Now, I think Martins is more composed than him right now. And I think you're right. He's like chaotic, like Ketspire. But I think I don't know how he's managed to hit his own foot. Anyway,
I'd honestly, that is a miracle in itself. That's a trick shot.
exactly. But then you've seen the best of Callum Wilson. It's not the best goal he'll ever score in his life, but it's what Callum Wilson does.
Yep.
And look, Callum Wilson frustrates the hell out of me. Big time. Is it time for him to leave this football club? 100% it is. But nobody can deny that man is a goal scorer, and he is going to be very important going into May for us for the rest of the season. We need to keep him fit.
If he stays fit,
Yeah,
I've always
got
said
to stay fit.
Callum Wilson is an asset if he stays fit. There's not many goal scorers like him left in the Premier League, especially with his nous, his age, his composure. He could be a vital player. The thing that we're sick of as fans is that he's always sick. He's always in the. He never plays in the. I think the stat on the TV was that this is the first time he's played for Newcastle in the 4th round of the FA Cup. He's never played in the 3rd round because, as far as we're aware, we know he's got something in his contract that he's allowed to piss off to Dubai all the time on holiday with his family. So he doesn't have to play in the 3rd round. He gets an extended holiday.
It's amazing that the commentators were stating that he made his FA Cup debut last night for Newcastle.
Yeah, FA Cup debut. That's it. Because obviously during the Bruce era and that,
Cup debut.
Yeah. Because we never got past the 4th round.
Because Bruce used to not win the 3rd round.
Exactly.
And when we did, he was injured.
Right.
So he never got a game.
He had never made an FA Cup appearance for Newcastle since he's been at the club.
Crazy.
That's mental, that man.
Exactly.
That is, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's been here how long now? 4 or 5 years?
Is it 6?
Longer? 6?
But he came under. Did he come under Rafa? No. Yeah. No, he didn't.
No,
Bruce.
In that first summer.
So 5. This is his 5th season, isn't it?
For 20 million.
Yeah.
20 million he cost, yeah. Because he came then.
Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think who he signed. There was somebody else who signed the same season as him.
Jeff Hendrick.
Was
Hendrick? Yeah. Hendrick.
Yeah.
On a free from Burnley.
And Jeff Hendrick scored on his debut against West Ham, didn't he, away from home? That's the season Callum Wilson signed, yeah.
Yeah. Callum Wilson scored that in that game as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he did, yeah. That's mental, that it just shows you how crap we've been in the cups. And
how much of a crock he is.
100%. It's bizarre.
Yep.
But I think you're right. How his hamstring didn't go was beyond me when he stretched his leg out. But it's what Callum Wilson does. He's a poacher. He's a goal scorer. And like I said, what Callum Wilson can do is we're in both cup competitions now, and there's probably a little small chance that there could be a penalty shootout at some point. Callum Wilson's a penalty taker.
Yep.
And we need to keep him. We need him fit. And if we're struggling and Isak's not having a great game, you can bring him on, and he's going to cause problems for 15 minutes. He's a finisher.
Yep.
And sometimes you need that, but it's whether he stays fit. We'll probably be having a conversation in 3 weeks' time saying he's out for a month.
Right.
We will be. This is what happens. He signed in 2020.
Yep.
So he's been here, right. 5 years.
5 years, yeah. He scored 47 goals in that time. We're 48 now, I think.
Back to Asula. He has the Bambi legs of the Amiobi brothers.
Mm.
Pace. He's got pace, so he's got the strength, as Gaz said, of Martin's. He's got the headless chicken about him of Ketsi and Miggy, but you can see he's desperate to impress.
Yes.
He wants to show folks that there's a footballer in there, and I've been impressed with him every time I've seen him. And there's a reason why we paid 13-15 million pounds for him from Sheffield United. And if there's a manager that's going to bring that footballer out, it's going to be Eddie Howe. It's going to be.
Without a shadow of a doubt. But the guy can take a tackle and put himself about, which is the one thing I was very impressed with. He didn't.
Yeah, he's not right
up on him because he was a handful. Yep.
Yeah.
He's not frightened to stick his foot in either, but
no, he's not. And that's what I'm saying. He didn't let his head go either, where Joe Linton probably would have. He would have been in a fight left, right, and centre. The way Sula handled himself, I was very, very impressed with.
He just smiles.
I thought it was a bit interesting. I mean, look, I could be jumping ahead here, but I thought it was interesting what Eddie Howe said. He can play on the right wing. Now he's playing on the right wing, and I personally don't think he's got the composure to be a striker. I think he needs to be on the ball. And when he went up front in the game yesterday, he quietened down a bit.
Yeah.
I think he needs to be on the ball, and I think he's a winger. And I just don't think he's got the composure to be a striker. I think he's too chaotic. He might get that. He really might. But
so the
I don't know. I can see a winger in him. I think he's a winger.
The opposite.
And I think Eddie Howe thinks he's a winger. And he's done it with Joe Linton. He turned Joe Linton from a striker into a midfielder. So, and Eddie said he can play on the wing. And everybody's gone, what? He can play on the wing? But he didn't know he could. So has Eddie Howe seen something in the last few months? Because this is what Eddie does. He changes positions of players.
Yep.
He's very good at it. And I don't think he's an Isak, man. He's not Isak. He hasn't got that cutting edge about him that Isak's got. I mean, he's young, I'll give him that. But even Isak at 21 was scoring goals.
Yep.
Exactly.
Not for me. I think he's a winger. I think he's in his right place.
The other thing, sorry, just going back to Joe Willock's goal very, very quickly. He said, I was convinced that Joe Wilcock, yeah. He basically said with what he said about the goal, he said he was convinced it was in. That's why he kicked it over the bar the second time. Just make sure you're in and put it in.
Lying bugger. You put it in just to make sure.
Yeah, exactly. Ken says you look better on the right wing. I agree with that. Get the Canadian in and Wilson uninjured till the end.
Jonathan David.
Yeah, Jonathan David.
Jonathan David, that would be fantastic. But
I heard a rumour he was off to Barcelona, like he'd already been signed.
He could be, mate. I haven't heard that yet, to be honest with you.
Right.
But
here's the thing about that. So, because it was in the comments and you put it up. Yes, I saw the same rumor yesterday that they were looking at offering Wilson another 1 year contract.
Yes, I was going to start talking about that.
Here's the only thing I'll say about that. If he's really on 55 grand a week, okay.
Pays your player for me.
Do you know who played on? I mean, I know I'm jumping ahead to something here, but you know who played sort of not on the wing, but got the ball on the right hand side a lot today and was brilliant. Was Cunha at Wolves, and he's got a £60 million release clause in the summer. And I'm looking and I'm going, yeah. I know he cannot replace Isak, and like he's not going up front. But I was thinking to myself, is that an option possibly? Because he is a bloody good player. Anyway, that's something else.
And if it was 60 million, would you rather have him or Mbeumo?
Do you know what it is? I would have said Mbeumo a few weeks ago, and I've watched him in a few games recently. And do you know, against that horrible, nasty team that you struggle against, he loses the ball a lot. He loses the ball, and he hasn't got that cutting edge when the space isn't there. And I thought, yeah, he's going to fit in well at Newcastle if we sign him. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't have him, but I just saw that in his game, and I thought, oh yeah,
that's an interesting observation.
Yeah, is he like what we need? I mean, look, I would take him tomorrow, but I just saw it and I thought maybe it was an off game from him, but it was against Tottenham.
Everyone's allowed an off game. Everyone's allowed an off game. Anyway, right, the goal of the game. Jesus Christ. 40 minutes.
Take anything away from that young man. No, keep going. I'm sorry.
We literally thought we were just going to see out the half. Everything was going well. And then suddenly a long ball gets punted into the box again. An absolute terrible clearing header, by the way. And the reason why it's a terrible clearing header, because he's put the ball into a dangerous area, right on the edge of the box. If he had flicked it towards the corner flag, there was a Newcastle player could have went and got the ball and calmed everything down. But no, he decides to flick it, 20 yards out on the edge of the box. But fair play to this lad, because when he hit this ball, Jesus Christ, did he hit it. That's how Obafemi Martins used to hit a football. And it was a rocket. There's nothing Paul could do about it. It flew into the roof of the net. It was still rising. I reckon if there was no net there, it would have ended up 50 miles down the road. He hit it that well.
And he won't hit another one like that in his career.
Nope. I said that's a once in a lifetime strike. That the way he hit it, he just caught it so pure. And I mean, the crowd erupted, didn't they, at 2-2, and I was just like, oh, here we go again. We didn't want that just before half time, and they finished the half quite strongly after that.
But you looked at our 11, and even our 11 was sitting there going, what can you do? That was special.
Yeah.
Iwata, right? Was that?
Yeah, it was a Tiote moment where you'll probably never hit another one like that. It was a beautiful, beautiful strike. I thought the closing down. I thought Bruno was a bit slow closing him down as well. I thought he should have gotten his face a bit more.
The midfield were nowhere near him. That was the problem.
Exactly.
That's why the header was so poor to put it in that kind of vicinity, because there was no midfield to back them up to pick up the ball, and there was only one thing going to happen. He was either going to, take a touch and clip it in, but he decided, sorry, I'm going to score a worldie instead.
I think Bruno Guimaraes is a fantastic footballer. Didn't get us wrong, right? But when he's got two players next to him who aren't at the standard of Tonali and Joe Linton, he's not the Bruno that you see when Tonali and Joe Linton are standing next to him. And that's not me slating his performance. I just
doesn't have the confidence in the other two around him as much.
No, he didn't. He's got no confidence in them. I mean, Miley, I don't know. Miley's a young 18-year-old lad. But I don't see any confidence with him and Sean Longstaff. I just didn't have to. But I thought Bruno Guimaraes was. I think it was Bruno. I don't think he got in.
Field were nowhere near it in the first half. To be honest with you, there was a big battle.
The strike was class. You cannot take anything away from the strike. He hit it perfectly, and to be honest, I didn't even think Lev Yashin saved it. So it's like. It's one of those. You just take it on the chin and go, yep, class strike, but we need to come out second half, take the game. And I remember seeing the goal. When the goal went in and it was 2-2, I instantly went in my head, I've had enough of this shit now, get Tonali up. That's what I was thinking in my head. So, because we need to take control of this game. And that's what I was thinking.
Well, I said at half time, is he going to stick to the game plan and take Bruno off and bring Tonali on, which he did. I was quite glad he did that because the players need a rest. There was also another chance. I can't remember when it was, but Stansfield had a great chance for Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, poor defending again.
Left-footed cross, and it was a great cross, though, to be fair. And he put it just wide. I think it came off his shoulder rather than his head when he should have scored.
Let's face it. Is that when we think Dan Burn did the groin?
No, that was it.
That was second half, wasn't it?
Second half.
I think he said at halftime. He said, "I'll give you 5 minutes, give you 10 minutes to Eddie, saying, let's get in there, let's see if we can get a quick goal in the second half, and then if we do, I'll come off." I think he was knackered before halftime.
All right. Ooh.
Eddie didn't want to play him. He didn't want to start him. He admitted that before the game.
He didn't have any other options.
Yeah.
It's one of those where
right center back. So
I mean, look, you've got to remember Dan Burn's 32 years of age, and he's literally playing every game. And but that's a different story. I mean, the owner sold Kelly, which they did the right thing, but it's like, what do you do? It's just like.
Well, I thought he would have played Burn for a half and Shaw for a half. That was my thinking.
Yeah, I mean, that makes more sense. It's like giving people half a game. I agree with that. Kraft could play the game. He's fit as out, Kraft. Kraft can be out for months and then come back and play 90 minutes. No problem. I've seen it from him before. So there was no problem doing that. He did it. He does it with Tonali and Bruno. So he should have done it with Sean Byrne. And but look, I don't know. I mean, whether I know one thing, it's going to take like a ruptured groin to keep Dan Byrne out of that team. Like, if he has to go and get a new groin put in for the final, he will get a new groin put in for the final. He will not miss that. So it's like, how bad it is, I don't know. I mean, he was at the end of the game.
You saw he limped off and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
it's obviously the second half. I mean, we knew we were in a battle in the second half because we started to take control of the game, and they didn't like it. And then the challenges started flying in. I mean, you could tell it was going to be a bit of a war in that second half. There's a lot of yellow cards got branded out. Shaw got thrown into a hoarding. There was loads of very silly challenges from Birmingham, which I thought I was getting a little bit angry, thinking, don't injure our players. There's no need for that tackle. But you could tell they were losing control of the game because let's face it, the first half they were always in that game. But in the second half, the way it was developing, even though it was at 2-2, they only looked like there was one winner. And that's why they got a little bit dirty. They threw on a few substitutions, and there was a tackle on Kraft where he clears the ball down the line and the striker just goes right through him with his shoulder. And, I was just thinking, there's no need for that. They're spoiling themselves a little bit. They're spoiling a good cup tie because they were starting to, the dark arts were a little bit too dark for my liking. I don't mind niggly fouls and stuff like that and getting in each other's faces. But when they were so late, it was getting very, very frustrating. And even before we scored, we were looking dangerous, Dan.
Yeah, agreed. No, and I'll in terms of the, not the style of play, but the what you just said. And I thought the referee lost his composure a bit.
I thought he was terrible at times.
He was also getting frustrated with the dark arts. And I know he would be absolutely slated if he sent off a Birmingham player. I think the crowd would have definitely got on his back. So he was riding that fine line. But you're absolutely right. The feistiness of the Birmingham side just got worse and worse and worse as the second half went on. But early in the first half, no, you're right. I think Eddie's halftime talk, team talk halftime, I think he geed him up. I think sticking to the plan of playing Bruno for the first half and then bringing on Tonali, guys, we had a true number 6 again. Yeah. Which is what Tonali's been playing
composure, now. The way that he read the game, he was brilliant, wasn't he? In that 45 minutes, he was superb. If he played the 90, he would have been man of the match.
Absolutely.
But in that 45 minutes, I saw him become a centre back. I saw him battling. I saw him just controlling the game, making it nice and easy with passes. He was just a Rolls Royce in that midfield.
Agreed. And as Gaz said earlier, Bruno was doing the job of 3 midfielders in that first 45 minutes because he was playing with Longstaff and Miley. That's not to take anything away from either one of them. Just you could tell that Bruno, he reverted back to the last 2 years where he's had to play all the midfield pieces at the same time. So he was knackered. It was good that he came off. Tonali came on. Tonali then took the game by the scruff of the neck and said, right, I've got this part done. I can protect Kraft and Byrne, and then let these other 2 guys loose. Let them go up front and take care of things. And I thought we looked good. I think the words are failing me today, Baz. I think that we showed our worth those first 5-10 minutes. What I think we were lucky to go in to the half 2-2, especially with Iwata's thunderbolt. But I think Eddie Howe wanted to stamp his authority on the second half and say, look, we're not taking this line down. We're going to walk out of here the winners. We're going to go into the hat. So I was glad to see Tonali come on. I was surprised to see Dan Byrne come back on, and was happy to see him play at least 5-10 minutes. I was not happy to see him go off because that's what I was afraid of. I thought Dan Byrne was knackered at the end of the first half. So, but no, we showed we showed Birmingham in the first 5-10 minutes that we were there to win the match, and that's when our third goal came, wasn't it? In the 51st minute.
No, well later than that.
Late on. Well, late on.
80th minute, we scored the winner.
That's right. Right. No, sorry.
I knew we were going to win that game when Birmingham reverted to their tactics because they stopped playing football. That's when I knew. And I'm old-fashioned. I like challenges in games. The one that got me was the one on Joe Willock. I thought that was a joke.
Yes, the one where he sort of saw the run of the ball and stepped back and then turned, and then the defender went, "He's got me here," so he just wiped him out.
He went to hurt him. And I'm sorry, like
he was down for a while.
Absolute thug. But I mean, I'm one of these. It's an FA Cup game, but old-fashioned, just get stuck in. But that was the one that got me. I thought, he showed no interest in the ball. All he wanted to do was hurt Willock. Yeah. And he just never took his eyes off him. And fair dues for Willock for getting back up this and that. But I'll tell you what, when you are talking about having Longstaff and Miley next to him, it shows you how good Tonali is when he can come on and control the whole midfield.
Exactly.
With them two next to him. That's how good Sandro Tonali is.
Yep.
He's fantastic footballer. And Baz is right. He probably would have won man of the match if he'd been on for the whole game. He's just, I mean, God, I mean, when your agent comes out and says, look, Italian teams, he's never coming back, I'm sorry, because you just can't afford him. He's too much money. Not enough money in Serie A. You know, he's done. This is why the agent said today, he says, Tonali won't return to Serie A. He's too much money.
Yep. Can't afford him.
No, that's why his agent said you can't afford him, and he's done with the Italian game. He'll return one day, but that'll be well in the future when his career's. Yeah. So he's basically saying that he's never coming back.
Exactly.
Is he just 25 now? 24. He was 23 when we brought him in. We lost a year.
24. He hasn't even hit his prime yet. I mean, it's frightening how good this bloke is, man. I mean, I thought Bruno was one of the best midfielders I've ever seen at Newcastle. This bloke makes some world-class top-class Newcastle midfielders look good when I thought they were class. And he is, honestly, what a footballer. And Ian cannot praise him enough. Ian loves the bloke, honestly.
He's 24. He's 25 in May.
Right. So
25 years old. Look, will he spend his whole career at Newcastle? Probably not. But if he ever leaves Newcastle, you are talking about a Real Madrid. Yeah, he's that good. Yeah. He is that
Real
good.
Madrid or Barcelona. Yep. Agreed.
But you know what is it? Tonali, I don't think Tonali will always look back in his career in years to come, look back at Newcastle and go, yep, I was going through a bad time. That's when my career really took off because I got myself settled. They stood by us. And I think he'll always have an infinity with this football club. But anyway, I'm jumping off subject. Fantastic performance from him. And I didn't mind the tactics, but some of them were a bit over the top. But the referee lost the game. The referee was shit. If he'd stamped his authority straight away, they wouldn't have happened. So it was his fault. He caused all the chaos. What did make us laugh was, though, can you imagine if Joe Linton had been on the pitch? He would have been like Ivan Drago and rocking forward.
He would have been sent off easily.
100%, because he wouldn't have took it.
No, and we would have finished the game with 9 players on the pitch because Joe Linton would have been 2 guys that had been sent off. I mean, that would have been nightmarish.
He wouldn't have took it him, mind them challenges.
He would have been involved in everything. He would have been over there when Asula got hit. He would have been over there when Shaw got hit. He would have been over there when Kraft got flattened. He would have been everywhere, and it would have been down the tunnel after 60 minutes.
Yep.
But a couple of their players would have been down the tunnel with concussions as well, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Let's talk about the winning goal because I thought it was brilliant from Willock. I'll tell you why it was brilliant from Willock because he scores literally probably 5 yards out from the right-hand side of the post, and he smashes it through the keeper's legs. But the move almost starts with him on the left-hand side. When he gets the ball on the left-hand side, he plays it right across to the right-hand side, and then he carries on his run towards where the ball's gone because he senses danger. And then Longstaff's done all right. He's got himself into a good area. He's tried to pull it back, which his cross was a bit weak, but it's landed in the area perfectly. And if I'm telling you now, Gordon wouldn't have made that run. Not many left wingers would have made that run from when they passed off the ball to where he scores from. And that is why it was such a great goal from Willock's point of view, because Wilcox, yeah. So I honestly can't see anybody making that run that he made to get him where he gets it, because he's not just a left winger. He plays in centre midfield. He's a box-to-box player. He senses danger better than what a potential left winger would. And that's why he scores that goal, because he anticipates something and he gambles. And he goes, I've got to get into the area. He probably knows that Sean Longstaff is he's not the best crosser of a football, is he? And he's probably thinking, this isn't going to get to the back post anyway, so I might as well run all the way around, come to the front post, and then smash it through the keeper's legs. And everyone went nuts. Great limbs in the away end as well.
He made the goal, Joe Willock. He started it and he finished it, and he learned from hitting thin air, because it was exactly the same position he was a few weeks ago when he completely missed the ball. This time he put it in. I think you're right. I don't think Gordon makes that run. Do you know what it is?
Many left wingers make that run at all, to be honest with you. I just think it was so instinctive for him to do that. It's like he knew we had to do something different and we had to force the issue, because it was in the 80, what have they got it down as? 82nd minute.
Yep.
Yeah. So he just thought, I sense something here, and he got himself in a great position.
It was a very, very clever finish from him. I think he meant it. I think he meant to pull through his legs. I think you're right. I think Longstaff was lucky. But he got it there. Fair enough. If he wasn't there, he wouldn't have got the cross in anyway. So if he do to him, Tino was involved as well. He played the through ball for Longstaff. I think it was Tino anyway. But do you know what it is? Joe Willock is one of the most frustrating footballers I've ever seen in my life, because I see brilliance and I see just something just completely different where he's just not in it at all. And there's no doubt Joe Willock is a very, very talented footballer. It's just trying to get it on a consistent basis. And you're right, not many people make that run. And it was just, he started it, played it, and the run, killed it. There you go. Into the next round, just like that. Beautiful finish.
Yeah, brilliant. And the limbs.
What more can you say?
And Dan, I bet you wish you were in that stand when the goal went in.
Yes, very much so. It was well, and I think all the stick that Willock has taken in the last week.
Yes, I was so pleased for him.
I think he wanted to show the fans, look, I can rise above it. I can do what needs to be done. I think it was he showed composure. I think he was, for me, he was man of the match. I said so on Twitter. I said I thought he had a fantastic game. And both of you are absolutely right. He made and finished that move. To put the ball away and to get us into the next round. I'm pleased for him because of all the stick that he took earlier in the week, and the fact that he started the match and he was bound and determined to finish the match. So I was impressed with Willock. He is frustrating, guys, because we know there's a footballer in there. That's why we spent our entire £25 million budget that summer to get him. Or to keep him, because he was only on loan, and then he said buy Mags, that kind of stuff. I was happy to see him come back. He's had a horrific time with injury, so the fact that he is on his way back to his best, I think is good for all of us.
Yeah, he was definitely my man of the match. I called it before even BBC called it. To be fair, I said it. Like I said, Tonali probably would have got it if he played 90. And then it was down to Joe Willock, Osula. Even Kraft was in there for me, even though his stats don't show. He had a very good game, very solid, very dependable. I think he's very underrated at times. We got our team photograph as well. The away dressing room doesn't look too bad, to be fair. I'm actually quite impressed.
Better than Old Trafford, that.
Yeah, exactly. But there we go. Right, let's hear from some other guys about the result. We've got Ian first.
Good afternoon, Newcastle United fans. Well, this is my match reaction off yesterday. Time to reflect a little bit. I thought, fair play to them. I thought the game was absolutely fantastic. It was great to watch. Both teams went at it. For me, it was more about the players that needed to stand up and have minutes in their legs. I thought Joe Willock was fantastic. I thought he had a cracking game and scored 2 good goals. Tonali's second half was magnificent as well. Even Jacob Murphy, when he came on, was brilliant. So overall, good win. Progress in the next round of the FA Cup, and all eyes on the draw. And let's see who we get in the next one. Hopefully it's home, so gives us a better chance to progress. Have a great night, lads. How are the lads?
I forgot about Murphy's chance when he rounded the keeper and should have squared it to Osula at the back post and went for the shot, and the defender cleared it brilliantly, to be fair, but he should have lifted it. Right.
Ian's right there, mind. Joe Willock did well when he come on, man.
Murphy did.
Joe Willock. I'm calling Joe Willock. I've got Joe Willock on the friggin' brain now. Joe Wilcox, you know what I mean? Jacob Murphy did well when he come on. He's full of confidence at the minute, man. Absolutely full of confidence. And I mean, fair dues to him. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. No, he did well, and he probably should have squared it.
He came on for Wilson, which then pushed Osula into the 9.
Yeah, and then that's when Osula dropped off because he just wasn't getting the ball as much. That's why I don't think he's a striker. I think he's a wing. And I mean, I should have Eddie Howe's job, mate, because I. But it's no, I agree. Anyway, you were saying, but
yep, Henry Winter.
Well, I said it'd be close. Didn't think it'd be that close. That was a difficult game. Birmingham played really, really well. They're clearly a very good team. You can see why they were unbeaten in 18. But after a shaky start, second half was so much better. I think Tonali gave us so much more control in the midfield. Willock with one of his best games in a long time. Hopefully that gives him a lot of confidence because he's kind of looked a bit out of sorts recently. And I was really impressed with Osula. I think there was some really good moments from him. Obviously 2 assists, one of them slightly unintentional, but he'll take it. But there's a really good player in there, a lot of rawness that actually I think Eddie Howe can definitely get out of him. So overall, job done. Difficult conditions as well. We've lost so many of those kinds of games over the years, so great to see us pull through. And on to the next round of another cup.
And then the man, the myth, the legend.
Hey guys, I just got back into the States. I'm in Texas visiting my son and his family. And so I didn't get to see the Birmingham match, but I knew it was going to be a tough one. I really thought we'd win 3-0, but wow, I watched some of the replays and read a lot about it online. Tough match. But we came away with the win, and a lot of guys who haven't had much time are out there on the pitch, and that's what I wanted to see. So I'm really happy with that. We move on again, and away the lads.
Brilliant. And it's something we sort of touched on at the start. We haven't touched on funny. 8 changes we made. Second string team. A past Newcastle team going down after 36 seconds, 34, 36 seconds, would have lost that game quite comfortably. But we are a completely different animal these days, aren't we, Dan? Just a massive different animal.
No, and again, guys playing out of position, such as Kraft. He's a right back, but he has shown so well at right center back that we have every confidence in him, especially after a long injury layoff like he had. No, you're absolutely right. 8 changes. I thought we did well overall. It was, like I said at the beginning, it was a proper cup tie. It was just seeing both teams wanting it. like Gary said earlier, I didn't like seeing all the cynical tackles, the cynical fouls that Birmingham were capable of in the second half. But ultimately, I think we showed why there is a gulf in class between the Premier League and lower divisions. Like Henry said, didn't think it was going to be that close. Again, nothing to take away from Iwata's thunderbolt strike. I mean, that was just, I think for me, and I know it's already being discussed. I think that's right now. That's goal of the FA Cup session for this season. I think that's the best goal of all of them. I was happy to see players getting minutes in their legs. I thought, overall, we deserved to go into the 5th round. I'm sorry it had to be under those circumstances. I was hoping for a bit more composure and a bit more of an authoritative.
It wouldn't be Newcastle if we didn't make it difficult.
So you wanted, in other words, you wanted it to make it nervy, so that we felt when we walked away, we truly felt like we'd earned something on the night. So no, I'm just happy that there were lots of players that look good. We've talked about them: Tonali, Asula, Kraft, Wilson, Wilcox. Or the fact that Callum Wilson scored a fluky goal and didn't injure himself in the process. Just all in all, I'm happy that we're through to the 5th round and away the lads.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, Gary? And proper FA Cup tie it was. It really was. And credit to Birmingham.
Yep.
100%. Birmingham are in the wrong league for me. I think they're a championship side. They will get promoted. I think I can see why they've won 18 games. I haven't been beaten in 18 games at home this season. I thought Newcastle deserved it, purely based on the fact that I thought in the second half they settled down. I thought some of the players who came in did well, showed that, I'm ready to fight for a place. Joe Willock, Asula, Kraft. I think you're right with Kraft. I thought you had a decent game. I think it was just a typical FA Cup tie. And if anything, since this competition started this season, if anything, there's been some big results, no bigger than today, in one of them, where a team takes a few players out and they lose the game. We managed to get through, and it was always going to be a difficult tie. I don't know. I think they put it on at 5:30 to make it even worse. Could have been any time, but yeah. But
I'll say, Gary, with the time difference, I was very happy with the.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Yeah, you would. You would have been. But it was a. I remember I watched it. There was a cup tie years ago, a long time ago, when Newcastle played Peterborough round 5 or something away from home. We won the game 4-2, but it was difficult. It reminded us of that, and you've just got to find it.
I mean, look at Steve's games.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's the FA Cup. The FA Cup. I mean, look, Plymouth beat Liverpool today. That's the biggest shock for years in the FA Cup for me. I mean, even Liverpool's second string should get through, and if anything, it just proves that anything can happen in the FA Cup, and it can. And Newcastle haven't been great against teams that get in their faces this season. So them players deserve praise for yesterday. It wasn't easy for them. And when somebody scores a goal like that, I think you've just got to hold your hands up and go, right, we need to come out. And that's what they did in the second half. And Ian's right, Tonali just came on and just settled. Henry's right as well. Tonali settled the whole game down. And that's when Birmingham got frustrated. That's when Birmingham got annoyed. And that's when I knew we'd win the game. And it was good victory. On to the next round. Birmingham played well. Out against them. They will get up next season. Hopefully they're playing the Mackhams, because I can't be arsed with them in the Premier League next season. So it's one of those. Happy with the victory. On to the next one.
I love it. I want to come back to this very quickly. Best goal of the game against, but the late opening goal was sublime, hands down the best goal. It would have been had it not hit the crossbar and hit the goalkeeper and went in.
Yeah, I agree.
It's actually gone down as an own goal. And I watched a lot of replays, and the ball was actually bouncing back out, not down and in. So unfortunately, you can't. I mean, it's a great effort. I loved the goal. It was against Man City. It was a 40-yard lob of the keeper. It was unbelievable, but it's an own goal. So I can't give it the best goal of the round when it's an own goal off the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I would have given that goal of the round if it went straight in, because that was some vision. That
does not get you. Whoever's told you that, it gets you a Europa League spot. Bloody hell, Baz, come on now. It's an own goal. It's an own goal.
I'll tell you what.
Newcastle player who scored it as well. It was an own goal.
If you got Champions League spot for an FA Cup win, I'm telling you now, teams would put their full teams out.
Exactly.
100%. No doubt.
But you still get a Europa League spot, which is still
very.
And that's why Man United are in it this season, because they got a Europa League spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Anyway, running out a little bit of time, so I've got a few little funny things just to put up for you guys before we go. First of all, though, we're going to Wembley. I said I'm going to put it up every single time I do a show. I don't care.
Yep. There it is.
Don't forget about Diet Crow as well, our sponsors. 20% off. Link is in the description for everyone who watches the channel. If you want to buy some
Spinney and family in Charlotte, the way to go.
Exactly. And we will be giving away a $40 gift card this month. I just haven't decided when yet. To all the Eddie Hout haters.
There you go.
There we go. But the best bits. Right, this is so funny. Birmingham scored more goals via Newcastle in 40 seconds this season than Arsenal have in 207.
Oh, God.
You've got to love Paddy Power. Absolutely fantastic. I literally pissed myself laughing when I saw this. The next one, this is about obviously the FA Cup. Liverpool are out, Arsenal are out, Chelsea are out, Brentford are out, West Ham are out, Everton are out, and now Spurs are out. So it only leaves Man United, Man City, Villa, Brighton, Newcastle.
Don't forget Bournemouth. Bournemouth's the team I didn't want. Bournemouth.
I've said put a tenner on Bournemouth to reach the final.
Yeah, I didn't want. Do you know what it is? They're the last team I want at home or away. Right? Give them to City. I didn't want Bournemouth. They showed enough for me to tell me they'll cause us issues. And everybody else in the cup, I'm not too fussed about. Forest, I think, would be difficult, but I think we can beat them. It's Bournemouth. Didn't want them.
Don't want Bournemouth. Don't want Man City unless it's at home.
Yeah.
I mean, we're second favourites to win the FA Cup now.
You know. I heard that we're second favourites, and I thought I'd double check, and yeah, we're second favourites. I mean, but
7-1 at second favourites. I think Man City are on just over evens. Just Daniel, it's only the winners. If you get to the final and you're not in a European place in the league, it goes down to the next European place. Just that's how we got screwed out of it. Man United won the FA Cup, which means it didn't come to us, which was a shame. But it's only the winners. And then let's just say if Man City win the FA Cup, they're in the Champions League, it goes to the next, I think it's 7th place. No, 6th place. No, 7th, because we'll hopefully have 5 in the Champions League this year. So, guys, I mean, we are dreaming, aren't we?
Do you know what it is? I've just said it would be the typical Newcastle thing to go 70 years without a trophy, right? And then put 2 in one season. It would just be so Newcastle at me.
Well, look, I mean, we've got a massive chance of winning the cup. Let's face it. I don't know what kind of team Liverpool are going to put out in the final. It all depends on what games are around it. It really does.
I'm expecting a full side from Liverpool. I really am.
Well, given
but
today's result, I agree.
Yeah, I know Champions League's amongst them. I know it's probably bottom of the target. But look, I know it was the second string today, but there was still some good players on that pitch. Nunes, Jota, you name it, there was still players.
Well, didn't he?
Yeah, and I keep hearing look, Van Dijk, yep, fantastic defender. I'm not saying, but I've seen Isak get him a few times this season, and Isak can get anybody. If you stop Salah, right, which I know is difficult, you can stop Liverpool. You've just got to make sure he doesn't play his game. And Newcastle can win that final. And the reason Newcastle can win that final is the midfielders.
No, I think we have to go to the 5-5-2-3 tactics.
Yep.
Against Liverpool in the final. I know it's that far away, but look how well it worked when Joe Linton wasn't there, and how well we counter-attacked against Arsenal. I think we have to do the similar thing against Liverpool. Anyway, it's a different topic, but that's what I'm thinking already ahead, especially when we've got Man City at the weekend. I'm thinking should play 5-5-2-3 again.
Well, he will. Well, it depends if Dan Burns fit, because if Dan Burns fit,
got 3 centre backs if he's not.
yeah, I mean Kraft could go there, but I just can't see him doing 5 with Kraft and Sean.
I can't see that.
Well,
Bernard can, but
if he played Trippier at right back, I think he would.
I just can't. I mean, for the final, I cannot see him not starting Joe Linton. I think Joe Linton will be one of the first names on his team sheet, because I think he'll think, I need players to go to war in that game. And you need players.
Salah, and if you have that side covered with Hall and Dan Burn doubling up on him, you've got a better chance of stopping Salah, haven't you?
I mean, if we're 100% match fit, I'm fairly certain. I'm 99% certain I've got the team in my head for the final already in my head.
It'll be
if
the
100% fit.
But Trippier definitely starts as well for me.
100%, yeah.
Right, we'll have to leave it there. It's been a great night, guys. Thank you very much for doing this. As always, we can dream. We can definitely dream. I dream a dream.
A domestic cup double would not be a bad result for us this season.
It'll be unbelievable. It really would be. But yes, please hit the subscribe and thumbs up button if you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back not till Friday. I've got a few days off now because we've crammed everything in over the weekend. So Friday we'll do the look ahead for the Man City game. We should have Martin coming on. So me and him can have a Barney about who's better between Haaland and Saka. So that'll be interesting to watch. So tune in then. We'll have a few little TikTok stuff out for you and things like that. Don't forget to check out the Denny Knows Every Newcastle Premier League result videos we've done. They've been brilliant.
That one out in front of Shears was fantastic.
One with John Beresford, or the one with the guy who tried twice?
The guy who tried twice. That was
he picked some decent results as well. I thought he was going to get caught out, and he was just straight on it. Danny, he was unbelievable. Beresford looked half cut when he did his.
Yeah, with his. He always is. Honestly, I remember at England playing the final. He was mortal drunk in Newcastle. He was down on the telly. He's enjoying his good life, John. I tell you.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's good laugh. Check out our TikTok channel because we've got, obviously, everyone's on it. Everyone puts their input into it. It's absolutely fabulous. And yeah, we'll see you on Friday unless something pops up. Take care, everyone.